Reminiscence stars Hugh Jackman, Rebecca Ferguson, Tandaway Newton, and a lot of others. Going into this film, I thought that it would be decent. The trailers made it look really interesting, but the bad critic reviews lowered my interest in this film. But I'm happy to report that this movie was great. I loved it all the way through, and I'm really surprised that critics are hating on it. And to be honest, I don't really see how you could hate this movie. Let's talk about why I like this movie so much. First off, that it's super fast paced. This movie is about 2 hours, but it honestly feels like it's an hour shorter than it actually is. Every single scene is really fast moving and entertaining, but there is 20 minutes of this movie that were a little boring. It was the 1 hour to the 1 hour and 20 minute mark where it felt like the film slowed down and it wasn't as interesting as the rest of the movie was. And it was also a little confusing, but thankfully it was the only dull part of the movie. And then the last 30 minutes are the highlight of the entire film. There's so much emotion and intensity in this final 30 minutes, and everything just comes together, and you're on the edge of your seat and extremely interested to see what happens and to find out the mysteries of this entire movie. One problem with this movie is that it's somewhat cliched, and it basically falls to some tropes of noir and mystery, like the whole twist where the person that they were looking for was like right by them but missed them, and also a twist where the person that they're looking for doesn't seem who he or she is. Stuff like that makes the movie seem a little cliched, but it's not as cliched as other noir or mystery films are usually. Let's talk about the actors. Hugh Jackman, Rebecca Ferguson, and Tantaway Newton are the standouts in this movie. They are great as Nick, May, and Watts, and they really add to the table of emotion and also make the movie super compelling. The other actors don't stand out, and their characters aren't very interesting. There's like some characters as steps for Nick to find May, and they weren't interesting for the couple minutes they were on screen. Let's talk about the action. It's greatly choreographed. There's so many parts where the camera's at the right angle to see the fight. There's a couple of parts where like there's a piece of furniture or something in the way of the camera, and it was a little bit distracting, but for the most part the action was really greatly choreographed, and it also makes the movie feel pretty intense. The scenes of action in here feel intense because of the emotion and conflict that is leading up to them. The emotion in here is very strong, especially in the last 30 minutes. The way that the whole movie is set up, and it's basically Nick trying to find his lover, May. It really is compelling and interesting, and you're also interested to see what May did in secret of him. And it makes the movie also emotional when Nick starts to find out what she did before she met him. And then in the last 30 minutes, the emotion is brilliant. May basically has to kill herself, and it's very emotional, and everyone does a phenomenal job. And you also feel the anger in Nick as he's tries to get revenge on the guy that forced her to die. So, where should you watch this? If you want to do it and if you're comfortable doing it, then I would suggest that you check this one out in the theater, and I imagine it would look really good on the big screen. But if you're not comfortable and just don't feel like doing it, then watch this movie on HBO Max. Overall, Reminiscence is a great movie that had great pacing, action, story, emotion, and a lot more good elements to it, and I'm giving Reminiscence an 8 out of 10. Guys, thanks so much for watching. You can check out my second channel, Nerd Nation Vlogs, in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!